Yes, it
All
is.
right, go
And
ahead.
are you seeing my deck now?
I am seeing your deck, so take it away.
Okay, perfect. Thanks very much for that introduction. I'm really excited to be here and to share one of our favorite tools, which is a import tool called 2QBO Convert Plus. So first I wanted to take just a minute to talk about myself just a little bit. I'm an advanced certified QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'm the owner of All About Business Services in San Jose. I'm the president of a nonprofit business association called Peninsula Executives Association, and I'm an associate member of the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. So when I was thinking about a topic for today, I was thinking about this year's hackathon goal. So the hackathon takes place the weekend before QuickBooks Connect. The developers come in just for the weekend, and they are tasked this year with creating an app that would save a small business owner either time or money. So that got me thinking, because I'm probably like a lot of you guys, I'm kind of a tool and app collector, and I like to try a lot of them out. But I thought about which ones do I really use, which ones really save me money or time, or to put it in those kind of Marie Kondo terms, which tools spark joy. So we are big automators here. So I thought about that feeling that you get when you can code like more than 100 transactions in just a few minutes. That is definitely a feeling of success. And that is what led me to talk about 2QBO Convert Pro Plus today by MoneyThon. So it has saved us both money and, this saved us time and actually made us a lot of money too. So here are some of the product details. The point of the tool is to convert various file types into a .qbo file that you can then import into QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, or Xero. Now I like this kind of import because it comes in just like a bank feed, and so you can then use your existing bank rules to code transactions, or you can set up rules as you go if you're doing something brand new. The file types that can be converted are the typical ones that you can download from banks, including PDFs, quiz, or various flavors of Excel files. You can do bank statements, credit card statements, or payment activity statements. It comes in 3 flavors. There's the Convert Pro, and the Convert Pro Plus. It can run on Mac or Windows desktops. And I particularly like the Pro Plus version. And the reason I like it is this version automatically recognizes if the PDF isn't readable, and it will invoke text recognition. So why would a PDF not be readable? It wouldn't be readable if you weren't able to download it directly from the bank, and maybe your client had a paper statement that they scanned and sent to you, or you scanned a paper statement. In that case, it's sometimes not going to be readable, and this version recognizes that automatically and OCRs it for you. It's also, compared to its competitors, it's relatively inexpensive. The simplest one, the Convert version, starts at $95 a year, and the Pro Plus, I think, is like $295 a year, which is still really very reasonable. You can check it out. There are free trials for any of the versions on moneython.com. At our firm, one of the things we really like using it for is what we call rebuild projects. We offer disaster recovery services. So for clients who either lost their accounting records, through a natural disaster or some kind of employee snafu, or maybe they didn't have accounting records in the first place, whatever the reason, we may be rebuilding multiple years of accounting records from bank and credit card statements. It's useful for some of those cleanup projects too, because as you guys probably already know, sometimes when you get really involved in a cleanup project, you'll find credit card accounts that haven't been included that should be, or maybe even some extra checking accounts and so on. So it can be useful in that kind of scenario. We like it for conversions, desktop to QBO, or between accounting systems. You can sometimes wind up with a data gap between the bank feed and the converted data. And these next couple of points really apply more to QuickBooks Online. If you need to import more than 90 days of transactions, or if it falls in that gap between 90 in 30 days or 7. You can use this tool to help fill in that gap. And then how about those times when your bank feed got disrupted and you have some transactions that got skipped, maybe part of a month or more? And again, it's really useful for that kind of scenario. So next, I'm going to just do a quick little step-by-step and give you a tour of the product. And after that, I was going to give you a few helpful tips. So here we go. We're going to launch it. This is what the Windows version looks like. This is the main screen. The first thing that you would do is select the Settings button and go to the Settings screen. Now, I know this isn't the most user-friendly looking screen here, but the good news is that there's really only 2 fields that are required. One is the account type. You're going to select either bank or credit card. And the next is the QuickBooks Financial Institution ID. And you can use that lookup button to look up the ID for your particular bank. Recommended but not required is to include the account number that would be in QuickBooks. Now, I normally only use a 4-digit account number here, not the full one as shown. The reason I like doing this is that QuickBooks uses it for mapping to the account. So when you're dealing with multiple accounts, which you usually are, multiple credit cards, multiple checking and savings accounts, and so on, then if you're switching around, loading them into QuickBooks, it's already napped. You don't have to re-nap it each time. So that's a big time saver. This is that bank financial institution ID that I was talking about. As you can see, it's got a ton of them. In a few cases, you may not find the one you're looking for. If you have one of those smaller community banks, for example, in that case, you could just pick something similar and use that. That's generally not a problem. In this particular case, I'm going to pick First National Bank and Trust. I'm going to click OK, and we're back at the settings screen. And you can see here that it's filled in that ID number for me. We're going to go to OK next, and we're back at the main screen. So now I'm going to choose Convert, and it's going to take me to a desktop or server folder where I have the full year of 2015 statements for this particular account. I'm going to choose January and hit Preview. And this is going to take me to the preview screen. Now for this screen and for the next couple of screens, I wanted to show you a couple of examples of what you may see on the preview screen. This particular example looks pretty good. The dates look good. You know, the columns look appropriately labeled. You know, the numbers look good. The reason I'm showing you this is really to point out this upper right-hand corner. And this is where you see the balances, the starting and ending balances, the credits and debits. And this is a good area to check, especially when you're just starting to use the tool. You will sometimes also see red highlighted error messages up in this area. This next example is something that I actually see fairly often. And this is a case where we have 2 columns of dates, but column B is missing a date for this payment. It's not unusual for the tool to have started off labeling this column as the date column. It's easy to fix. You just use the drop down and reassign the date column to the one that you want, which in this case is column A. Now in this example, I wanted to show you what might happen if a couple of your dates got garbled. In this case, all I have to do is click on the cell. I can fix the date right there. The second example, I'm not going to fix it because I've chosen to omit these transactions by unchecking the boxes. So it will highlight in yellow any of the transactions that you don't want to import, which might be for a variety of reasons. For example, if you have an overlap and you don't want to import the first of the month. Okay, let's assume I'm now happy with the preview screen. I'm going to click Create QBO, and it's going to create that .qbo file for me. So I've gone back to the main screen, and it's now showing me the conversion log. By the way, you can save that conversion log if you like, which I would typically do if I'm seeing some errors and I want to look at it later. This one looks okay. The balances look good. It gave me that nice okay message. I've deliberately left this in to show you what happens when you do use that short last four digits of the account number. You'll get a warning sign. Apparently, Money Thumb thinks QuickBooks is going to cause an error about that. I haven't had that problem. but I just wanted to show you that as a sort of a heads up. Okay, so now we've created that .qbo file and we can import it into QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, or Xero. So here I'm just showing you an example of importing it into QuickBooks Online. In that case, you would go to the Banking tab, you would select Update and File Upload, and here you can see that January file that we converted in our earlier example, and you are off and running and uploading it into QuickBooks. So here's some tips for working a little bit faster. I like to sort my folder by file type. As you can see, it makes it super easy here to see where I left off. I would be starting in April next. The other tip is once you get comfortable using the tool, you can bundle several months into one concatenated file. How would you do that? Instead of selecting just January, you could select January and a bunch of other months, January, February, whatever. I often like to do bundles of 6 months at a time. So the product does create separate .qbo files for each month, but will also create this concatenated file. So now I can import 6 months worth of data. And now you're going to be even more efficient on the QuickBooks end because you can sort by transaction type and do a whole lot of coding all at one time. So that's pretty cool. It's not a perfect world, not a perfect product. It does have a couple problems. I wanted to highlight a few. This one in particular, because I did not find the solution to this in any of their documentation. Occasionally when I've converted Excel files, when I get to the import side in QuickBooks, it tells me it's the wrong file type. What you need to do is go back into your Excel file and format all your data fields as typed text, and it'll import. Sometimes you'll have skipped transactions. This doesn't happen too often, but you have some options about how you want to deal with that. You can do it in the preview, you can do it in QuickBooks, or you can just do a partial conversion and import those. We already talked about what to do if you can't find your financial institution. Every once in a while, you'll see your debits and credits reversed. Go back to that settings screen, and there is a option there that you can check, and it'll reverse the signs. If you see this message, no transactions found in the PDF file, this is where you're going to need to use that ProPlus version to OCR the file. And finally, again, this is unusual, but occasionally, especially dealing with Excel files, I'll have an incorrect year. You can go back to that settings screen and set the year for the entire file. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed the tour and the tips. I want to throw back at you, what new app do you wish somebody would invent to save you time or money? And I'm going to post that challenge on Twitter. I'd love to hear feedback from you. And I'll be at QB Connect. If you see me, be sure and say hi.